Well, it's Sunday morning, rolling out of Ouray, headed back to Telluride, hopefully by 12:30, and I'll be taking Imogene Pass. So, I'm going to turn up Camp Bird Mine Road here, or Camp Bird Road, and got the tires there down to about 20 pounds, and looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. Just need to get off the peak of the mountain, before it gets too busy. So, looking forward to it. All right. It's been about 20 minutes since I left Ouray, and I'm coming up to the welcome to Imogene and Yankee Boy Basins. It's right here at the top of the hill here where a mine is still in operation. So, in the past I've driven this with somebody with me. It seems like it's not a big deal, but it's more treacherous, it seems, when I'm by myself. I think right around this corner is where the most photographed section of the road is, where the rock overhangs the trail. If I'm not mistaken, we'll go around here and it'll be right there. So the rest of the family, they're leaving for Montrose here in about an hour, and they're flying out about 2 o'clock. And I'm here for I don't know how long. I'm gonna explore until I can't take it anymore, and then I'm gonna head east. Yep, we're almost there. Hopefully we won't have any oncoming traffic up here. It's about a 300-foot drop off to the left, and I don't know, it looks like a couple hundred feet up. This is also the pathway to Yankee Boy Basin. Came up here yesterday morning. It was pretty amazing, and we went early, didn't have hardly any traffic at all. But the path is pretty wide. There's plenty of places to pull off, let people by. So it doesn't seem as treacherous as it does on film. I've watched quite a few films of this, and it seems like it's always kind of treacherous, but anyway, I'm creeping up it. I'm in 4 high. Got the transmission in low. I'm a Landcruiser 80, and it's just creeping along up the hill. Okay, so I was wrong. I had to go a couple hundred more yards. But here's where the road goes underneath the rock. Anybody with good sense knows that one day gravity's going to win, and this rock's going to come down. So I just hope I'm not here on it when that happens. That's a lot of rock. And when it falls and hits the road, it's probably going to take the road with it. Alright. So it's been about 30 minutes. I came up to where you turn off to Imogene Pass, and about to go take it. I'm going to gear it down to low range and just see what she'll do. But heard a lot of things about this. County Road 26B. You see my GPS says it's only 12 miles to Telluride, and it says I'll be there in 25 minutes, but I just don't see that happening. A lot of folks on YouTube videos, they love splashing in the water right here, but I have yet to figure out a good reason why you would go through that. Of course, I'm looking at that bridge, and it's way too narrow. I think I'm going to rinse off the tires. Just creep through here. Pretty deep. Probably 18 inches deep. Alright, so I get it now. I know why the YouTubers do that. All right, so I've been on this Imogene Pass road here for 30 minutes, picking my way through it. Probably only gone like a mile. Came across this mining cabin, which is kind of interesting. We'll poke our head in there. Huh, still got the bed on there. How about that, in here? Up the hill, there is a mine, and it says restricted, no trespassing. And I can promise you out here, that's only an invitation for somebody to come check it out. So the first 30 minutes of this has been, I would call, pretty extreme. I had to get out 2 or 3 times to find a decent way to get over some rocks. I mean, this is give you an idea of what it's like. It's just non-stop rocks. So this is not a road. This is just more or less rock crawling. But anyway, I think once you start climbing, I think it starts to get better. You kind of get an idea. So far, my Landcruiser's been doing fine. But I can tell you, for probably a novice driver, this probably would be a lot for them. I would imagine they'd be kind of spooked. It's only been a couple minutes since I last posted, but here is a view of the road down there that leads up from Ouray, and it is absolutely gorgeous. First viewpoint, you can see part of the mine down there. You see how slow I'm going. I think the GPS says 2 miles an hour at times, and we've got 4.5 miles to reach the summit of Imogene Pass. So it's been about an hour in from Ouray, and we are at 10,200 feet with 4 miles to go to the summit, to the pass. At least that's what the GPS says. And we're just now starting to climb. So we've got about 3,000 feet to climb. And you can see this, I guess it's a gulch or a ravine or a valley or something up in here. There's some waterfalls down there. Really cool. But we're just creeping along right now at 4 miles an hour. So at this rate, in 1 hour, we'll be at the top. But I don't know how long we can keep this rate up, because the first 45 minutes was a pretty tough, really a rock garden, obstacle field, picking your way through that. So far, I hadn't seen a soul out here, hadn't heard anyone, hadn't seen a windshield glare, nothing off the mountain. No one's behind me. And it's Sunday morning, June 29th. Just creeping my way up through the hills here. Once I got a better view, I had to stop and look at this waterfall. The wind feels like it's blowing about 30 or 40 miles an hour. Right down through this canyon. Well, got my first guy. He's over here by this waterfall. He's in a Jeep. We're at 10,600, creeping our way up. It's been an hour and 10 minutes since I've seen anyone.
Radio.
You on 16?
Is that what everybody's on here?
That's what they're supposed to be.
Is it?
Yeah.
I just got it on scan, but yeah, I'll move to 16.
If you stay on 16, a lot of times you can hear folks when they get near the top, when they, there's no pull-offs.
Right.
You can kind of let everybody know what you're doing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
I know that. I didn't know we were on that one. So cool.
Yeah. Look at you see this on my GPS right here?
Yeah.
That right there is what we got to climb here in like the next 2 miles.
Is that where the shelf
3
road
miles.
starts?
No, I think it's at the very top.
Because it says there's a shelf road. I don't know where that's at.
So here's 4.6 miles across here when I first loaded it. And so this is pretty level, goes up a little, pretty level, and then it's real steep, pretty level, and then I think the shelf road's that last 500 or 600 feet.
Yeah.
But
I got a map and I got the Onyx, but it's...
Yeah, I bought this just because it's a GPS.
Well, that's what I don't like the Onyx now. After I got it, I'm like, God,
Well, you can load the Onyx maps on this.
Yeah, and then, can you?
Yeah,
but,
you can load it on there, or Gaia or whatever. But what I like is that it doesn't lose a signal. See it?
That's what I want.
You see this right here, that magenta line?
Yeah.
That's where we're headed. And I think this is that shelf road right here.
I know, I should have brought my Garmin, because at least my Garmin will tell me something better than that.
It might not have the road on there, but at least you know you're getting close, right? Well, take care.
All right.
Holler if you need something.
All right, thanks.
Thank you now. I don't know if it's because it's early in the season or what, but there's just waterfalls like everywhere. We just crossed the stream back here. You see the Jeep guy coming up behind me. But it's something else. All right, so we're about an hour and 20 minutes in, I guess. There's just waterfalls everywhere with the snow melt. You can see up here. There's an old miner's cabin up there. I'll walk up there a little ways, but that's not where the road's going. The road is actually going up over here. Steep up there, back and forth, and I don't know where the pass is, but it's up in those hills somewhere. We're just about above the tree line. Just waterfalls everywhere. And I guess with the snow melt, we're at the tail end of it. They had a really poor snow season this year. And I would imagine here in about 3 or 4 weeks, most of this is going to be gone. You can see kind of what the road's like. We're at 11,000, about 200 feet. All right, we're above the tree line, mostly. You can see the smoke in the distance out there from the fire in Ouray. Road up here is actually pretty good compared to what we've been doing. I guess they want to prep you for it. We're moving at 4 miles an hour. We stopped and looked at took pictures of that mining house back there. I let the Jeep guy go in front, but you can see we're definitely in an alpine area, and it's pretty steep. We've got to climb up. Well, we're at 11,454, and we got to go up to 13,000 and change. So just creeping up. The intensity of the sun up here is something that you don't expect. It is like so bright and hot. I don't know how the snow hangs on as long as it does. But we're creeping along. Got about 2 miles to go. So maybe 30 minutes. and that'll put me up here at the summit. I left Ouray right at 9 o'clock, and it's going to be right around a little after 11 when I make it up here. Well, we're heading back up. That rock right there is the spot where everybody with a Jeep has to get their photograph. They drive out on that rock, and in all the YouTube videos it looks like it might be a couple 100-foot drop beyond it, but it's more like, I don't know, 1,000. I mean, it is white knuckle. You can see down there where that mining cabin is down there. So anyway, we're climbing a shelf road. When I say we, I'm talking about the Landcruiser and I. There's no one with me, but the Jeep guy, he's still down there. I think he'll get talked into having his picture made. But anyway, we're about to cross into 12,000 feet right here on the GPS. Got 1.5 miles to go to the summit, so we're just picking our way through here, and it's just a slow go, kind of white knuckle too. All right, 1.3 miles to go. Got a little traffic up here. I guess that is the pass way up there. I see a sign and I see a car and some people. So this is the last mile right here. So in front of us is a guy on a bike. He's pushing it. And then there's a Jeep with a couple of Max Trax boards on top. And then behind that, it looks like a Jeep Compass. Now, I don't know what it's like on the other side. I think he's gonna have a hard time. That's just me. Maybe that thing's tough and it'll ride on 3 wheels and pull anything, but I don't know. Seems like no. All right, so we came almost to the top. That's the summit right there above the snow, and I saw 2 elk running across this ridge. We're above 12,000 feet, and look at them climbing that steep incline. Can you see them? That one in the front, he's like a mountain goat. Oh, there they are. Heck. They got big racks on them too. Almost at the top of Imogene Pass. In fact, that one in the front, he's about to hit that snow. He's at 13,000 feet. There ain't, wow, pretty slick. You can see the smoke down there in Ouray. That's the Gold Mountain Ranch fire. All right, 13,035 feet. And that is the pass right over there. We're waiting on these 2 Jeeps to go by, and then we'll creep out there. 13,000 feet. Yeah, I got a headache already. Up here at Imogene Pass, June 29th. Wind's blowing about 40 miles an hour. And wow, is it cold. See all the snow? That's the Jeep guy that followed me up right there. We're above 13,000 feet. This is the Telluride side over here. You can see that little narrow shelf road that we got to ride on to get down. It's no joke. This little building's giving us a windbreak. Look down there. You can see the Telluride Airport. I don't know exactly where town is. Somewhere between here and there. This way, look at that Landcruiser. That girl been doing some mountain goat climbing. Those two elk, those male elk that we saw a while ago, they were right below over here where that snow is. Hoofing it right up the side of this mountain like it was nothing to it. The smoke you see down there, once again, is the Ouray. It's down in Ouray on the Gold Mountain Ranch. And it's blowing away from town, but it looks like it has completely exploded. I mean, that fire looks like it is spreading like crazy. Not too busy up here today. About ready to make my way down. Well, it's right at 12 o'clock straight up and heading back down Imogene in the Telluride. I spent a few minutes up here checking it out. It's pretty cool, but super windy, super windy. Now I got to do these shelf roads all by myself. So, got to focus. I'll check in when I get down. Maybe it's at the social tunnel or somewhere else, but definitely will probably have to take some photos on the way down. I made it through the first couple of switchbacks on the Telluride side and pretty exposed and pretty narrow, but not too bad. You can see now where we are. Looking through here, it's just pretty steep right in here. You can't just use engine braking. But you can see if you zoom in or look closely, you can see the road follows that canyon all the way back into town. So I think this side is definitely going to be a lot easier than the other side. The other side was pretty rough. The first mile took a long time. It's 12 o'clock local time, and I thought that I left this morning at 9 o'clock, and my clock here says, yeah, it's almost 12, so maybe I've been at it for 3 hours. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look. But either way, it's been a pretty spectacular trip here. Some of it was white knuckle, some of it wasn't. It just way different from driving back east. Alrighty, so it's 11:42 local time, and I rolled out about 9. So 2 hours and 45 minutes with a brief stop here and there. And I'm on the Telluride side. This says 5.7 miles. So I hadn't pulled up the elevation, how much more we got to go down. But this side's a lot quicker. I'm probably averaging 5 miles an hour going down. A lot smoother ride than on the Ouray side. But as you can see, the weather is absolutely perfect. Perfect. Alright, here's a Jeep tour right here. They stopped to let us by. And we're looking at this old mine. I think that's the Gold Block mine. You can see some of the ruins around. Let's see what elevation we're at. We're at 11,500. So we've come down a good bit already. Knocking on 12 o'clock. So been at it for 3 hours. And today's Sunday, June 29th, 2026. I think that's the right date, 29th. And most of the snow is melted, but the The streams are really healthy and lots of waterfalls today. It's been a pretty epic adventure coming over Imogene Pass by myself with zero experience, but learned a lot and met some nice people, and so now I'm just creeping my way back into Telluride. Alright, on the Shelf Road heading into Telluride. You can see the ski slopes over there, but you can't see the village. You can see the road here. It's kind of gets you leaned over a little bit, but it ain't real bad. To me, it's easier driving than the way up on the Ouray side. I mean, I'm averaging probably 4 miles an hour, and it was about 2 over a lot of that on the Ouray side. But the canyon over here, wow. The video will not do it justice, but it's maybe 1,000 feet deep. You can see the Shelf Road up ahead. We're gonna keep going. You see we got some company coming. Look at the mining activity all around on this steep canyon wall, and you see all the debris that they just threw out when they dug holes in the mine. It's like that everywhere in this area. I don't know if they're waiting on me, or doesn't look like it. I'll have to pull over here by this building. So right here is where my boy Richie with Jailbreak Overland lost his drone, and that is probably 200 feet up. He was dedicated to climb up there and grab it, and he ended up finding it like way over there. So those are the switchbacks for Black Bear Pass, and if you look in the shadow there, you can see Bridal Veil Falls with the powerhouse on top. They used to generate electricity there. I'm going to zoom back out. I'm real close to Social Tunnel. You can kind of see the road here. It's got to be close, but we're still 3.5 miles from town, and we got to come down about 2,000 feet, so it's about to get steep. And here is Social Tunnel. Pretty cool. Pretty awesome drop off right here. I mean, literally down to the river down there that Bridal Veil Falls flows into. Kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies just looking down. But we're creeping our way on down. So this is kind of dangerous to be filming and driving at the same time. You can see how steep the road is falling around the front of that mountain right there. And it's not particularly soft, but it's how you get down. It's a massive drop off down there still, but you see right here it says we're 3 miles. I don't think it's going to be that far, because that's like 2.4 miles to Oak Street, and Oak Street is pretty much downtown. So that's the road down there that goes up to Bridal Falls, and also to the bottom end of Black Bear Pass. You can see it down there in the distance. So just creeping along here. It's starting to heat up down below 10,000 feet. The temperature's starting to get hot. Something about getting used to that cool air up top. Kind of like it. So we're coming back into Telluride. You can see the slope's a little better from this angle in the downtown. Got, according to the GPS, got about 1,400 feet, 1,200 feet or so to descend, 14, and about 1.4 miles. So we're about to drop off pretty hard, looks like. Road isn't too bad. Creeping along about 5 or 6 miles per hour. So far, everything's working out good. All right. So I am touching pavement right here. My clock says 1 o'clock. So I started at 9 this morning. There's a 2-hour difference right here on that clock. So it says 3, but it's really just 1 here in Telluride. So started at 9, no experience, never done it before. Stock Landcruiser 80 with big tires, bigger tires, like 33s, and took 4 hours. So I don't know if that's typical or what, but I took my time, took some pictures. Now I'm going to go get some gas. Well, just went through the town of Ophir. Well, Ophir. I like to call it Ophir for some reason. And the speed limit through the whole community is 10 miles per hour. I think the pass is just right up that shelf road up there. But this says 7.6 miles. I think that's all the way to the other side. Let me look at something. Yeah, that's all the way to 550, which is the Ouray side of Ophir. So I'm going to go up a little ways and probably let some air out, and then I will grab me a charcuterie lunch of salami and Gruyere cheese that Jake insisted on buying. But yeah, it's, let's see, we'll call it 150 when we left Ophir, and we'll see how long it takes, including a little light snack, to get to the other side. So this side of Ophir Pass has a lot more trees, at least right here. We're at 10,000 feet, and like right in the middle of an aspen grove, but the road is more technical, and since all that wind we've had in the last couple days, it's really blown down several trees in the road. Someone's already cleared out a lot of them. You can see here's one right here, perfectly live trees that just snapped off in that 30 and 40 mile an hour wind. Who knows what the gusts were up here on top of the mountain. But had a nice lunch, shady spot. I couldn't imagine it being any better. Well, we are about to get into some really interesting roadway here. 10,300 feet, and it's got a pretty steep incline, and then after these trees are gone, I think it's a shelf road on up to the summit right there to the right of this big rock in front of me. Well, mountain, I guess. So we'll just creep up here, and not really a huge obstacle, just got to go slow and avoid the big sharp rocks and just creep along. We got the tires at 20 pounds, and the Landcruiser's in 4 low. It's practically a mountain goat going up here, not really spinning. And let's see, we're going about 4 miles per hour. So all the way over to 550 from here is only 5.8 miles. So once we get to the top, I mean, it'll be smooth sailing down. I'll be back in Ouray in an hour. 10,700 feet. Just past an old codger, probably 70-something years old. He's in a nice Jeep with big tires. He said, "Go ahead. We're just sightseeing. We want to see how y'all resolve who's going to go on this shelf road first." But as you can see the power lines up there, we're actually not that far from the pass now. And this last little bit, I mean, we're just now getting out of the tree line, which is kind of interesting because we're in the trees for so long on this side. 10,700 feet. So we're going to make our way to the top, then I'll take another video. So we're on the shelf road, and it is pretty bumpy. But this shelf road's a lot wider than what I saw on Imogene. Ophir's just seems to be more benign in many ways. We got some motorcycles coming here in just a little bit, but there's plenty of room for them to get by. Just about to pop out of the tree line. The Jeep that passed me a while ago, he's moving along pretty good. You can see the motorcycle over there. There's a group of folks over there. Alright, so I spoke too soon. This rocky shale, slippery, flat rocks, it ain't no joke. This last little bit on the Telluride side has been pretty bumpy and loose, and a lot more than I thought it was going to be. I mean, up to this point it was nothing. So this last little stretch here, I don't know, maybe half mile, it's no joke. It's the real deal. So this is the last little bit before you get to the pass, and that's what it's like down there. And my Landcruiser, I filled it up with gas and Telluride, and these steep ascents, I can smell the gas leaking out. That's how steep it's been. So creeping up, looks like it's right at 4.4 miles probably by the time we get to the top. And we're at 11,400. Let's see, I don't remember what the sign says up here, but we'll see about it here in just a second. Well, we're at Ouray Pass, and it says 4.2 miles to the bottom. Well, another interesting thing is that says 11,789, and my GPS says 11,692. That's like 100 feet off. There's the red mountains over there, I think, one of them. So I think tomorrow I'll be heading over that way, doing Corkscrew and Hurricane.